Okay, so here we are with yet another musical biography movie. This one is about Bob Marley. But is this movie any good? Is this a good entry to this genre? Let's discuss. So we've definitely seen a lot of movies in this genre. We had Walk the Line, Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocket Man, Ray. This is definitely a well-versed genre, and that is because people like to see the background story and just the history behind some of their favorite performers. It's understandable because when someone becomes super popular, it's definitely interesting for people to wonder how they got there, why they are the way they are, and that is what this movie is. This movie is telling you about Bob Marley. This guy definitely had a big presence in his short time in the industry. He unfortunately died a bit early in his career, but he had a lasting impact on the world of music. And this movie shines a light on just a certain part of his life. And I thought, for the most part, this movie was quite well done. Kingsley Ben-Adir and Lashana Lynch both did very well in this movie. I thought Kingsley did a very good job bringing out the emotions and just the motivations behind Bob Marley. You could understand what this guy is about because he was definitely about unity and love and spreading a message. He wanted the world to be united, and he was using his music. The one thing I thought was very interesting about this movie was I learned a lot about just Jamaica and its history. It's easy to forget how many countries in this world have been forged by war, how many of them are still just dealing with it. And this movie kind of shined a light on that. I just did not know about that. Everyone thinks of Jamaica as this island paradise where you go to get your hair braided and drink some coconut water. But this movie shined a light on just a past part of Jamaica's history and how important Bob Marley was to that part of history. And so those are the things I took most from this movie was just understanding more about Jamaica, understanding more about this man who sang this awesome song that everyone just is really catching up to. It's We're Jamming. You know, everybody loves that song. He's got Redemption song. This guy has a lot of very good hits. And this movie just was very interesting to me because it helped me understand a bit more about his life and just everything around it. Now, if I had some cons, I would say that there were some scene changes that I thought seemed drastic at first. There was flashbacks in the movie, but it wasn't made clear that it was a flashback, at least not to me. So at first I was very confused. I was like, oh, what's going on? But then I eventually caught on. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a young Bob Marley. I definitely am not well versed on Bob Marley history, so I don't know if this movie tackled all the important stuff, you know, all the stuff that people are going to be mostly interested in. It tackled a certain period of his life. This is a period, you know, he's already famous by the time this movie comes along. But he hasn't released his big hit, which was that Exodus album that everyone says was, you know, topping really high in the charts. And by the time this movie comes along, he's not there yet, but you get to see the making of that album and see what was going on, see what went into jamming, and see him talk about how he had been writing Redemption Song his whole life.
When you write that?
All my life.
I don't know if that's really true, but it's a very good song. I think it's a fantastic song, actually, and it's one of his best. Probably my favorite song from him. And I was just very interested in seeing that he had spent so much time working on that song. I mean, that's what it takes to perfect something, I guess. You have to take your time. And Bob Marley apparently understood that. So overall, I don't think this movie is way up there with the greats. I don't think it's as good as some of the other musical documentary biography movies that have been out. But I definitely think it's a solid entry into this genre. And if you're interested in Bob Marley and you want to see some good performances and hear some really good music, because the music in this movie was very good. He didn't sing all the big hits, but he definitely sang, you know, quite a few of them. And I saw this in Dolby Cinema, and I thought it sounded very awesome in Dolby Cinema. Just the best version of Bob Marley that you're going to hear. I don't know if it was really Kingsley Ben-Adir singing or if it was actually just a remastered Bob Marley track, because it sounded so much like Bob Marley. It had me wondering, but I'm not really sure. Either way, I think that if you're into Bob Marley and you enjoy this genre, you enjoy getting backstory on these people that you admire, these singers and that you're looking up to, and if you want that, then this movie is a very good movie for that. I think this movie, to me, feels like an 8 out of 10, and I think that it's just a inspirational story about a very inspirational guy who unfortunately didn't get to shine for as long as he should have. He could have given us way more music, but cancer is a bitch. It wasn't as treatable it was just a different time back then. So unfortunately, but either way, I thought this movie was well worth watching, and that's all I have to say. If you liked this video, please like this video, and if you want to see more things like this, as always, please subscribe to this channel. And that's all I got for you. Later.